Hello, Gemini. Welcome back to Intuitive Insights with Willow. Here is where I'm always wishing you peace and the understanding that life is always happening for you, not to you. So, for today's daily read, we are going to channel in to who is in your energy. All right? Let's be nosy. Oh, I'm gonna be nosy. Ace of Cups, so you could be dealing with a water sign. Water sign is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Also, you could be dealing with someone who is just new at love, new and ready. All right. It can also be telling me that you're dealing with an individual. The person that's in your the person that is in your energy is the person that you too also have strong emotions for. So this could be someone you are newly involved with. All right. This person can be all about you. Let's clarify. All right, you have the Seven of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. So it gives me Nine of Pentacles. All right. So you have an individual that is they're very into you. They have strong desires for you, but they are a bit on the standoffish end. All right. To be quite frank with you, they're working really hard to make this relationship, this connection work, but I feel like more so they feel resistance from your end. Like they kind of feel like the littlest thing that I do wrong, I can lose you. That's why they're a bit on standoffish, off-putting. How about that? In some areas when it comes to you. What are their intentions? Smile hills over my head. Oh, they could have really worked on themselves, or in a means of improving themselves to be worthy of an opportunity with you. All right, let's see their intentions. I tell you what, I needed this read right here because Aries and Taurus. Oh shit. Ooh, their intentions is to have something fulfilling, something new, experience something they never had with you before, or fulfill a new journey with you. All right, let's clarify this. They might not be saying this because we have Seven of Swords here. It may not seem that way because also they got the they have Leo under the Seven of Swords, and under that is King of Wands. So they could be coming off, it's cool or whatnot. But really, they're hoping to better understand love with you or achieve that fairy tale. Let's see. We'll clarify and get more insight to it. Their intentions, though, is to make you feel free with them. Give you the energy or the feel that you belong with them. Like this is where you're supposed to be. I haven't peeked there. Page of Swords. All right, so we have the Two of Swords, the Queen of Wands, and Judgment. Look, their intentions is for you to confidently understand, like be firm in the decision that this is where you want to be. Like I said before we even turned these cards, the clarifiers, they want you to know that this is the right decision. This is where you're supposed to be. They want you to begin the true journey of love. So you could, look, Gemini, you could have had like a bad or a distaste when it comes to love. Y'all could be, having flings or whatever, and then this person finally admits, hey, I want to solidify this with you. I want us to be together. to be solid, and they feel like you're a bit reserved because of the things that you've been through. They could have been an individual that witnessed this with you, you know, been on the back end and actually saw the trials and tribulations that you had to endure with said individual, past lover, and they just want to change your perspective on it. There's a great deal of chemistry here on their end, receptive end for you. Like, they just, I mean, you're the one for them. On another hand, if this is a different Gemini, the person you are dealing with does have a lot of suitors or a lot of lovers. You know, she can have a lot in her bag because she's very attractive, and she or he, take it as it resonates, this masculine or feminine could be putting themselves out there and hoping that you choose them, hoping that you decide to take the leap of faith in their direction, look at them and actually see them physically attractive in all facets, and just give them the opportunity for you to have something to judge them on. You understand? Like, don't just vote them out. Okay? So that was 2 for you, all right? Let's see the outcome between the 2 of you. Saying goodbye, bye, bye, bye. Say something, I'm giving up on her. Your read is not the same as the song, but that is the song that I'm getting. You. Queen of Pentacles. Outcome is Page of Wands. Okay. That's good. Fire's burning. Let's clarify this, because sometimes, you know, for outcome, when it's dealing with the relationship with people, look, things can burn so high and so quick that it's over before it began. You understand? You know, I look at the Page of Wands as an individual. You know how you're excited to start something? You work really hard to save your coins up so you can afford whatever that is. But once you get it, it's like the hottest thing for a short period. And then you're on to the next. That is how I see the Page of Wands. So this could be something that's short-lived. And I'm saying goodbye, bye, bye, bye. You flipped over. I'm taking 2. The World, the Empress, and the Knight of Pentacles. Five of Cups and Queen of Pentacles is at the bottom of the deck. Wow, that took a turn. What I mean by that is, it doesn't necessarily mean that attraction would be gone. It just means when shit gets real, it gets real. And it's going to require a lot of hard work for the 2 of you to constantly keep each other engaged. I don't know if it's you, Gemini, because although Scorpio rules the genitals, Gemini is communication. And the thing with that is, you have to constantly, continuously stimulate Gemini mentally. It's not always physical. Although I've known so many Geminis that jump in the sack and it's over and done with. But they're not like that all the time. But when they got an itch, they scratch it, and they don't necessarily see people long term. Like, to lock down a Gemini, you must think about like the mafia. You must bring some kind of value to them that is solid and represents longevity for them to really stay with you. Because a Gemini is so hot and cold, up and down, that you got to constantly be on your toes for you guys. I don't mean that in a negative way, like to be mean to you. I just mean that in the fashion of, it is hard to keep you stimulated. You know what I mean? Because it's not just physical. You know, smexual, y'all can do that all day and be cold at it. I ain't saying y'all ain't cold at it. I mean, I know why y'all got people in your roster. But I'm saying, and I don't mean that as in I've been with a Gemini. I just know a lot of Geminis, all right? Feminine and masculine. But what I am saying is that you got to be more than just that if you want to be Gemini's main. And I think the outcome here with this individual, I think they will capture you initially. They have captured you, and it's spicy, but to continually keep a relationship with you long term, like it's gonna take more than that. It ensues a lot of hard work because there's constant cycles, endings, and beginnings with this. You have the world and you have the empress. Yes, you guys can give life to a very solid relationship. Just know that it entails a lot of work, and a lot of work on your end and theirs. I mean, what relationship does not require a lot of work? But you gotta understand, Gemini, be honest. When somebody fucking with you, they dealing with both of you. You understand? It's two sides to you, baby. And most people got two. If most people got two sides, flip sides, baby, you got flow. You understand? Either way, it's like, I mean, I don't know many Geminis to commit to one and be super promiscuous, but I'm gonna keep it solid with you. I don't know many Geminis that stay with just one individual because it's, y'all are so sensitive. I know Aries gets that they are the baby in the zodiac, but you guys are very fragile to me. I mean, the smallest thing someone does that just you cut their ass off, and generally you guys don't. You just move them in another category and they can figure that shit out on their own. That's just how Gemini is. But I mean, if they are foundational to you, you know, you're not going to end that until you're ready. That's just Gemini. Your advice, though, understand you are the Queen of Pentacles. You do have a stable foundation. Anybody that comes along, they add value to it, then they are worthy of being kept. You got Judgment out here twice. Let me tell you something. Geminis, you guys are kind of cursed with this, and the reason why I say that is because most Geminis are hurt when they're young. People, you know, really sit down and talk about this. Yeah, I caught myself, almost said the comparison again, but let's let that go. Geminis tend to get hurt, experience manipulation, and are kind of forced to mature mentally before everyone else around them. And because of that, you guys keep those experiences on the front line. Because as soon as someone demonstrates a red flag for that, and they're not following the blueprint that you have set for them, you cut them off. And it's not in a sense to hurt them, it's to protect you. Because I'm looking at Judgment here twice, give it a chance. You know, sometimes people do things, and I can say personally, this is a personal experience for me. When I first got with my husband 14 years ago, almost 15, when I first got with him, he showed red flags to me of being selfish, very manipulative. You know, that was at the beginning. And the reason why, look, now I had this goal that I would never date no one that wasn't a junior. And my husband is the first guy I ever talked to that wasn't a junior, okay? Now, he was the runt. I'm the eldest. He's the runt. To me, that was a huge red flag. Because what do runts do? Runts get everything that they desire. They're spoiled. You know what I mean? While the eldest child usually has to grow up faster, is more mature. They have the mindset that I can eat when everybody eat. Whereas the runt is, no, I eat before everyone else. Because, you know, you feed the baby first, right? With that theory in mind and with me sharing that with you, I had to communicate more. Like, I have Mercury in very solid positions in my chart. And I had to force myself. Actually, let me cut the shit. I cut his ass off. I don't know. I'm being so serious. But him being a Virgo, he did not take that. You know, he just didn't. And it didn't help that he knew where I lived and we worked together at that time. So he forced me to have to articulate how I felt, to break down things. And I had to use situations like, you did this and this, it shows this, and he'd listen to me. And he really understood because he was honest with me. He didn't come from a big family. You know, he only got one sibling and he's the baby. And there's 10 years between the two of them. You know, there's a lot of shit that happens in 10 years, huh? So he was more so raised like an only child. And I had to be willing to surrender that. Surrender, like bending my boundaries, I guess. It's kind of sounding out bad. It worked out for me in the end, clearly. But um, he forced me to. He came in my life where I was working 2 jobs and I was in school. I was so obsessed with being busy, busy, busy. And I never had nobody to depend on. And to this day, the only person I've ever had in my life to depend on is my husband. True shit. He's the only person that's always been in my corner. But I had to understand that he was not past experiences. He was not, a promise of failure, of humiliation. What helped me was those little things that happened and him not giving up. I admired that so much because, like, y'all, when I tell you when I, like, stop talking to him, no cap. I know this is in the YouTuber verse, but he don't look at this. He would, like, show up at my window and knock on the window of my bedroom and have flowers and stuff for me. And even if I didn't want to talk, what did it for me, real shit, this is really what did it for me. I had told him one time, I said, look, I'm not the girl for you. You are not the guy for me. I am too focused right now. I don't have time for these distractions or these games. Are you trying to live out a slave mate fantasy or some shit? There are other black girls out here that are down with that. I'm not down with it. I don't want to do this with you. He's like, I said, and I don't even want to talk about it with you. I don't even care about how you feel. This is a true story. I'm probably mixing up a little bit, but the premise is the same. And he tells me, he said, okay, if you don't want to talk, you want to just sit with me? I was like, what? He was like, let's just sit. Why not? I enjoy your company. Do you mind my company? And I was like, no. It was weird. He hit me with it was weird. And I was like, look, dude, and which was true. He had girls that was coming up to the job that really liked him, and he did not like them. He really just liked me. And there was girls we worked with. Like, when it came out that me and him was dating, there were 2 girls that actually filed complaints with me at HR at the company we were working at that came up with these weird ass fucking stories that just threw me for a loop. Clearly they didn't work, but it was like, why did they do that? It was because at the time he was like talking to them, but they were just talking. He hadn't taken them on dates or anything. He wasn't serious about it. But yeah, it caused problems for me. So when he did that, I was like, I guess, He was like, yeah, I know, you got to work, which was true. I had to go to work in a couple hours. And real life, we just sat there. In Harry, if you don't know Harry Potter, there's this scene in Harry Potter where in the Goblet of Fire, she's like, sometimes he just sits at me and he stares at me while I study. Like, sometimes we'd be in the room, he'd have like the sound off on his game. And I mean, yeah, his bedroom or like the living room, just anywhere where he was playing the game. And he'd play his game and I'd read my book. Or there were times he'd just like sit there and he'd watch me read my book. It was different. But I bring that up to say, like, it's scary as hell. Love hurts, especially if you've been wounded by like family and shit. But it doesn't mean close everybody off. Like, you don't have to shut the door on everybody. There are some good ones out there. You know what I mean? And you're going to have ugly. I mean, me and my husband have had some lows, baby. I'm talking about some lows. But the thing of it is, I always take pride in, we've always been honest with one another, always been open with one another. And no matter what it looks like, we've always been willing to get in the ring and fight for what we stand for. You know what I mean? We never threw in the white flag on one another. That's hard. That's a hard bond to break. You know what I mean? So, with having judgment here, it's a lot in the mind, trying to play out. Look at you being expected, guys. You got Page of Swords, King of Swords, right under the judgment. You know what I mean? And I'm going to be real with you. I was trying to find reasons for him to go. Like, for real. because I just didn't want to deal with it. And you know what? 14 years later, churn, you know, I'm happy that he didn't give up. And I'm happy that I chose to forgive, because I had to learn how to forgive with him. He did something very, I never thought I would forgive him for, and I would never express that to the world. But I did. And we have grown from that. Actually, he's done there's other things too. But I've done things too. Mine's usually in the form of money though. Anyways, not trying to say who's better or bad, worse or better, worse or bad or whatever. But the thing of it is, this world is so fucking cold. It's a cold place out here. And it's so easy for people to be like, man, fuck this, and go and want to be on their own and struggle alone. But just understand that Five of Pentacles go hard, because yeah, you could struggle alone. You could be by yourself. And it'd still be bad, but what about the times it could be great? What about moments that you can share with someone? Because I'm telling you, like, when my heart hurts, his heart hurts. That unity with somebody. These people don't have relationships that's like 50, 60 years because shit was always beautiful. They have 50, 60 years because they was never willing to get out the ring on one another. They wrote that shit out. Now, whether it was money, children, whatever, people come up with all kind of fucking excuses. The reality of it is that I don't want to live without you. Some people, it's attachment because you've been together so long, you're in routine. You know what I mean? It could be that. It can be comfort. But comfort, what goes toe and toe with comfort? Security. And it's like, I don't put too much time in you. Like that song say, I don't love you enough to hate you, but I damn sure love you too much to leave you. You know what I mean? Think about that. All right. Because I don't know if I told you, you have Five of Cups and Judgment on there, and that's where it comes from, reflecting on all the relationships that you regretted, all the times that you were taken for granted and left out there in the cold. You were the one left picking up the pieces, and you never really solidified yourself again after that. So, you know what I mean? All right. That is what I have for you. All right, Gemini. Remember to always play the hand that you are dealt to the best of your abilities. And regardless to how things may seem, do well to remember, you got this. Bye.